Yeah, please. Someday the world might come and blow your house down. First a tornado, then a plague. Let us use our hands to help and hold. Let us utilize our mighty soul. I've never felt super comfortable in stillness. You know, we're in the COVID situation, as well as everything else that's being rattled around in the world. I think it's pushed everybody to the extremes of their feeling, their emotions, their behaviors. For us alcoholics or addicts, it's like rule number one, don't isolate. I think it's really difficult for people to stay sober in a time where there's so much going on, so much noise, and now all of a sudden we are dealing with this thing that's like, you better isolate. So what do you do with that? I don't want to continue to feel my version of centered, or centeredness is purchased through a plane ticket or afforded through a tour or through a stage. The addiction issues that I have, depression that comes up. What do I do when I'm home? And what do I do when maybe nobody's calling on the phone? Or, you know, now that I don't turn to drugs or to alcohol to make me feel something, it's an opportunity to sit with this discomfort. It'll pass. But to sit with it and to maybe even ask myself, where is that coming from? Where's that discomfort coming from? You know, it's still like, where are you on the inside? Nothing out there can fill the void. One must fill the void for oneself. Sorry. I don't know nothing, but I know that. What I have found that no matter where the world takes us, that I'd like to carry on for myself is reaching out to other people. We can't do it alone. Doesn't matter what your struggle with depression or addiction. I mean, everybody's feeling it one way or another. You get yourself broken and beaten, and you're able to get back up, there's gonna be this light. There's gonna be this Wizard of Oz moment of the tornado, and then there's the Technicolor. Even if I can't see all the flowers, they're still there. That's the pursuit, is just to find more beauty in each moment. If one keeps looking for it elsewhere, down the yellow brick road, I don't think you ever catch up to it. Let us use our hands to help and hold. Let us pour love into the mighty soul.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into Rhythm and Reset. My name's Chris Bullard. I'm the founder and executive director of Sound Mind. Our mission is to end the stigma around mental health through the power of music. Now we've got some amazing musicians lined up for you, but first a moment about why we're here. We're here as a collective community because mental health has been a huge challenge in the pandemic, and we're about to enter the winter months, which can exacerbate these challenges for so many. Now, you're going to hear some great performances from artists tonight, but also hear a little bit about their own lived experience with mental health challenges, as well as some self-care and coping mechanisms that can really help you and have helped them get through difficult times. Now, if you're compelled to donate, everything's going to a great cause, supporting Sound Mind's mental health advocacy work. Throughout the course of this year, we've reached over 50,000 audience members and millions more through social advocacy campaigns with artists, talking about mental health and leading people to direct services. You can help support our next year's work by going to soundmindlive.org/donate, or just text Rhythm and Reset to the number on your screen. Again, that's soundmindlive.org/donate, or Rhythm and Reset to the number on your screen. Now, on to the music. So we have first for you, you probably know her best as the front woman from Heartless Bastards. Please enjoy Erika Wennerstrom.
Hi everybody, I'm happy to be playing here for the Sound Mind Live event. This song is called Be Good to Yourself. It's a song, it's a message that I like to remind myself of a lot, and especially lately. When you're hanging on the line and the weight is pulling you under, hold tight like always. The winds change, oh, you can always rearrange. Oh, there is no doubt in my mind. Oh, I know you can get through this time. Just remember, being good to yourself. Being good to yourself. When you're standing in the doorway, if you listen closely, you'll hear there's a voice inside you telling you not to fear, 'cause oh, like always the winds change. Oh, you can always rearrange. Oh, there is no doubt in my mind. Oh, I know you can get through this time. Just remember, being good to yourself. Being good to yourself. All I can offer you, my friends, are the stories I've lived and the places I've been. See, I haven't been very good to myself. See, I haven't been very good to myself. And oh, there is no doubt in my mind. Oh, I know you can get through this time. Oh, there is no doubt in my mind. Oh, I know you can get through this time. Just remember, being good to yourself. Being good to yourself. been so long out on the open road, I'm barely touch the ground. Blinded eye was slowly floundering towards the sun. Oh, maybe it was curiosity or a search for love or identity. I don't know just what I was looking for. Now I climbed a mountain and I went down into the jungle to fill in the colors of my mind. And I drank a potion and there I saw my life in motion. And it was so clear for me to see. I wanna feel extraordinary love, a love that always echoes through my mind. I wanna feel extraordinary love, a love that only comes from within. When you're living your life last song is called Revolution. Where you going, my friend? Have you forgotten when there was a time filled with hope instead of fear that's in your heart? There was a time when life was simple and innocent to start. Do you remember? Do you remember? Where you going, my friend? Have you forgotten when there was a time when false information wasn't so rampant in the sphere? There was a time when you weren't questioning everything you hear. Do you remember? Do you remember? And constantly being advertised, a life commercialized and disguised as happiness and pills and potions, fancy threads and cars and motion, hypnotized by gilded lies to line the pockets of so few. While hungry politicians feed bullshit to the masses to ensure their status sales and further divides the classes. Are you a phone with a voice? So open up and speak your mind. Raise consciousness and elevate how we all relate. Don't hesitate, no need to be better, smarter than anybody else. Leave judgment at the door for others and yourself. The revolution is in your mind. 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 Big brothers watching you and trying to sell you something new. And I just wanna take away the blues. Big brothers watching you and trying to sell you something new. And I just wanna take away the blues. The revolution is in your mind. 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 Revolution. Revolution. When I get up in the morning, all I really want is the truth. Oh, when I open my eyes and I get up in the morning, all I really need is the truth. You were born with a voice, so open up and speak your mind. Raise consciousness and elevate how we all relate. Don't hesitate, no need to be better, smarter than anybody else. Leave judgment at the door for others and yourself. The revolution is in your mind. 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 Thank you, everybody. I just want to remind everybody to donate to support mental health programs if you're in a position to. And thank you to Sound Mind.
It's okay to think you're in a toxic relationship with the world right now.
It's okay to feel like your world is changing.
It's okay if it's hard to find the words to express how you feel.
It's okay to feel like you just want to become someone else.
It's okay if you're panicking over an inability to control your life right now.
It's okay to have trouble maintaining your normal routine while staying home.
It's okay if you're feeling more cynical than usual.
It's okay if you want to curse more than you usually do.
It's okay to wear your favorite tank top several days in a row.
It's okay to miss your job.
It's okay to just stay quiet.
It's okay to be depressed.
It's okay to talk to your cats like they understand what you're saying.
It's okay not to feel the most fabulous right now.
It's okay.
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 Hey, what's up? I'm Nicole Atkins, and I'm here on the Sound Mind podcast. My friends are getting set up in the living room, so I figured I'd just give a little chat about mental health and creativity and where I'm at with all that right now in the pandemic. I've always been a pretty anxious person, and depression, anxiety combo, alcoholism, the whole gambit. And I think, I'm really just grateful right now. I've got almost 4 years without alcohol, and it's like definitely helped me see things like on a more even keel level, just waking up and feeling good and not being hungover. So yeah, it's a big, I don't know what the word is. It's a good way to start your day. But the songs that I'm going to play, music has always been a thing that helps me get through bad times, even like when I'm in the midst of it. Writing songs has always been something that helps me turn an internally bad situation into something I can be proud of, So a lot of the songs that I'm going to play were written under duress. So, Goodnight Rhonda Lee. It's kind of, just looking at myself from outside of myself and having some empathy for, that alcoholic, talking too loud and always feeling very dramatic. And, because alcoholism is a disease, it's just, it's got this stigma around it. And there's some people that, might drink too much, but, not have to drink every day. It's just like, if it doesn't work for you and if it's at odds with like who you know yourself to be, it's totally okay. Just, I think more so the thing that, is hard is, just doing it and wanting to do it for yourself and not feeling bad about it. It's nothing to feel bad about. It's genetic, I guess the only thing to feel bad about it would be if you hate how it's affecting you and you don't try to do anything about it, So if you do hate how it's affecting you, just one foot in front of the other, baby steps, and just try something different. And I think that, that's a big thing that I learned too, like with depression or fear or anxiety, is action. So taking one step to not just sit there and just be like locked up in fear is just, go make your bed. Read the paper. Actually, don't read the paper. The paper's terrible. Read a book. Get lost in a book. Call someone else. And, yeah, just taking a little action can get you out of your own head. And so, yeah, that's what these songs that I'm playing for you you know, they were written when I was going through some tough stuff. And, you know, and even there's a new song on there that we're going to play for you in a bit called Captain, that I wrote, you know, about you being okay. And then the people that, you know, were kind of like taking care of you, them not taking care of themselves, and kind of just being like, hey, you know, I got you. You know, I can take care of you for a second, for a minute, you know, instead of you taking care of me all the time. It's the way, you know, it goes. Como se, como sa. But, yeah, that's all I really want to say in this off-the-cuff intro. But, yeah, I hope you like the songs, and let's go in the other room and see if they are ready.
All right, well, Nicole's getting set up. I just want to remind everyone that you can donate at soundmindlive.org/donate, or just text Rhythm and Reset to the number on your screen. Again, we're here this evening supporting mental health. So many are struggling right now, and we've been overwhelmed by the support from you all throughout the year. Please help us make a difference next year by supporting mental health advocacy and bringing greater awareness and dialogue around mental health. As I said before, musicians tonight are performing as well as speaking about their own lived experience with mental health issues. You'll also hear from other members of the Sound Mind team talking about music and songs that have saved them during this difficult time. Again, you can go to soundmindlive.org/donate or Rhythm and Reset to the number on your screen. Now, without further ado, let's get to Nicole's music. She's an amazing singer-songwriter and so soulful. Please enjoy Nicole Atkins.
I'm Nicole Atkins, and this is Coop, and this song's called Captain. 2, 3, 4. Down by Shark River, you were not the swimmer that you used to be. Drifting, lost in the outlet. Don't forget to come home to me. And when you're found a wreck, I'll pull you on deck. I can be your captain for once. Let me be your captain for once. I can be your captain for once. So come on back to my arms. And if we have to burn the sails, there is no shame to let it fail. And when you're found a wreck, I'll pull you on deck. I can be your captain for once. When you're found a wreck, I'll pull you on deck. I can be your captain for once. Let me be your captain for once. I can be your captain for once. So come on back to my arms.
I see you laughing, but you're laughing too loud. I tried to find you, you were lost in the crowd. Girl, you kill me. Understand, don't you see? Say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, Rondalee. You take the windows, paint the midnight blue. You're holding on tight to a life you outgrew. How many times can I remind you to breathe? Say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, Rondalee. The sky is falling, make sure everyone knows. When they stop listening, that's just the way that it goes. But don't let it crush you, change don't come easily. Say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, Rondalee. Say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, Rondalee. Say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, say goodnight, Rondalee. Cha cha cha. 2, 3. You asked me once, what good is day? When careless hearts burn so bright, you and I are not like that legendary bird that arises from ash. We burn and crash. You asked me once, what good is love if hurt is just around the bend? You and I play hide and seek so very well, and the game never ends in a spell. You asked me once, when will it end? These funny little ups and downs, every disaster that befalls you and I must show that we care. A pair of clowns. On a jet plane, sailing through the night, I find I'm thinking of you. 9 years ago was just like yesterday. You never look back under attack. On a jet plane sailing through the night, I guess I'm wasting precious time. 7 years ago, you told me you had plans to go, and you'd never come back. Shows what you know. Those were serious nights of drinking. I rest my head back on the shelf. It's my good name, a bit too good for my own. Yeah, I was naive, so I came to believe this jet plane lands silently still. I can't believe I'll be there soon. 'Cause 3 years ago felt like a lifetime. Those mountains we climb in our minds, minds,
Hi, I'm Mike Rublin, Advocacy Lead at SoundMind. A song that saved me this pandemic is Heat Wave by Amber Mark. This song reminds me of summer dance parties, hugging friends, and simply not worrying about a lot of the things we have to constantly worry about in order to protect ourselves these days. The song, A, is beyond uplifting, and I dance to it quite a bit in my room. But B, not be able to go to shows or dance parties or do things we once did on the daily is a loss. It's a form of grief in my mind, and avoiding reminiscing or talking about it doesn't really help us process the loss. Plus, it's hope and someone to look forward to when this dies down. It is super important to support mental health programs during this time. You can give at soundmindlive.org/donate or text Rhythm and Reset to the number on your screen. Next up is a panel with our artists about their mental health journeys, hosted by Jennifer Leff, Senior Director at MusiCares. Enjoy.
My name is Jennifer Leff, and I am a director at MusiCares, and I'm also a therapist and a big supporter of SoundMind and their team. I'm thrilled to be here today with three amazing music creators, Erika Wennerstrom, Nicole Atkins, and Frank Cadillac. Today we're going to be talking about basically how people are coping these days. We just went through our first holiday, which probably felt very different to people than holidays in the past. And with other holidays coming up and winter months and cold and perhaps more isolation, let's talk about how people are anticipating that, coping mechanisms, and what each of you are doing to get through this time. So what I'd like to do is introduce everybody. And I'm going to ask you to tell a little bit about yourself, and also please define what mental health or mental wellness means to you. So Erika, let's start with you.
Well, my name is Erika Wennerstrom. I sing and write songs in the band Heartless. Yeah, I think what mental health means to me is sort of, I think it's, well, a big thing is remembering to sort of breathe deep and to sort of try to be more present. I think a lot of mental health is depression and issues with mental health or depression and anxiety. And I find like depression is if I like look back on regrets of something or how I could do something different, or and anxiety is sort of, you know, anticipating worry about things that haven't happened yet and might not actually be an issue. Like I can really create in my head scenarios that might not actually play out. So I just sort of give myself a little unnecessary energy, you know. It's not a good energy to have. So I guess mental health would be just for me trying to stay as present as possible. Yeah.
Great. I think we probably all experience some anticipatory anxiety. And once that situation hits, we feel so much better. But that buildup absolutely adds to the anxious feelings. So I get you there. Nicole.
Hi, I'm Nicole Atkins, and I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm in a band, and I'm an illustrator and a painter. And yeah, I do a lot of things. I put together little TV shows now that we're all in lockdown. And mental health to me, I think is, I mean, it's probably one of the most important forms of health that I try to look after as a performer and a writer and a creative type, because everything that I make starts up here, you know. And if I've just seen throughout my life as I've learned more about how to care for my mental health, that the more that I care for my mental health, the easier and more fun it is to create. You know, there's not this duality of, oh, I'm making something, oh, I'm freaking out, you know, like I'm able to really be more present in the making of the thing rather than, like Erika was saying, worried about the future or sad about the past. You know, if you take care of your mental health, you're able to enjoy what you're making at the moment, which I think is really important. And it's really only something that I've started to experience recently. But, you know, I think that there's a stigma around mental health, I think, just because we're humans that communicate with each other, you know. So, and I feel like we're a young species. So it's easier to say, you know, like for our parents or grandparents to, oh, she has stomach problems. Oh, poor thing, you know, because her stomach can't talk, you know, but, oh, you know, she has mental problems. Oh, she's crazy. You know, that it's bad, good or bad. Whereas now it's like, you know, your brain is just as important, if not more important than any other organ in your body, you know? And, yeah, so I think the more that people talk about it, and I'm happy to talk about it, the more helpful it is, because it's a shame that people have to struggle because they might feel embarrassed about it.
And I think you're touching on such a paramount point, and that's what Sound Mind Live is doing, normalizing the conversation. And we need to just normalize this conversation.
Yeah.
Everybody has mental health. And we need to talk about mental health the same way we would. I have diabetes. Well, I'm experiencing some depression right now. So
yeah.
Thank you for kicking it off.
Dry eye, anxiety, you know.
Frank.
Hey,
welcome.
I'm Frank Cadillac. I'm in a band called Neon Dreams. I'm one half of the band, and mental health to me is like you guys said a lot of like what I was thinking, and but to add on it, I was just thinking that mental health to me is taking care of yourself internally and learning how to learning self-love, to simplify it. Like I spent most of my years growing up in fear just because like how I lived, and and I was always anxious. And it wasn't until I understood those things that I started to break free of like the mental chains that I put on myself. And yeah, no, yeah, just working on yourself internally is the most important thing to mental health, to a creative, because I believe as much as we can manifest good things, we can manifest bad things. So when you take care of that, you can create a good balance.
Tell me more about, and now we can get into some deep dives. Tell me more about the creative piece, because you mentioned it's important to the creative. So what do you mean by that?
Like the creative piece of like the balance of it? Sorry.
Or that mental health is important. Either you tell me, is it important in order for you to be creative, to be mindful of your mental health, or does it affect your creativity?
Well, I guess yeah, like both. I guess when my mind's not healthy, like it's hard for me to create, because I try to make music that like make people feel good, and when I start falling off, like I feel really unauthentic, and I'm not sure what to say, because I don't want to lead people into the dark places of my mind all the time. But yeah, sorry, just thinking. It's a good question though.
Erika, talk a little bit about what you have been doing over the past 8 months in terms of best managing. I think a lot of people are talking about coping, but you know what? Maybe we're not coping. So how are you trying to manage?
I mean, it's changed a bit here or there. I think, well, when the pandemic first hit, I think I just got a little over anxious with just concern about everybody, you know, and I would kind of worry about potential things that are actually happening now, but it could lead to. But I went to a friend's house, and I stayed with her. They had like some Airstream trailers, and I don't normally, I don't eat weed kind of things, edibles much, but I just happened to eat a gummy, and I'm very sensitive to that stuff. I don't have it very much, and I actually had kind of a difficult experience with it, but it was actually like a really powerful experience where it was just kind of saying like, all I have is now. And but in that moment I was like, all I have is right now. Because it was like when a lot of the cases were starting to go up, and just with politics and everything that's been going on, you know, I gotta say, I've heard this term doom scroller kind of recently, and I gotta say I was doing some doom scrolling. And but when I woke up the next day, it was like a really powerful message that stuck with me, that really all I do have is now, and that so much of everything that's going on is kind of beyond my control, and that I just really needed to like focus on what I can do, you know. And I think really what that was is just you know, trying to look for the silver linings. You know, there was part of me that felt a little guilty having some certain things that felt like a blessing, you know, when there was everything going on too. But I do think it's important to look for those blessings too. And you know, just kind of yeah. Oh, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Yeah. But I really have so much to be grateful for. And yeah, there were times where I was like, you know, with the hustle bustle of life, it's really hard to just like sit still, you know, and just kind of just be, you know. And I think there were times where I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna chill and feel guilt-free reading a book and not feeling like I gotta like, I got this thing I always gotta like keep super busy and be productive. And you know, I'm so emotional, you guys. But it just felt like, okay, I can just like sit still here and just like think about what I have to be grateful for. I have like a roof over my head, like food, and just, you know, it's really like the little things, you know. And yeah. And getting out in nature, I think that has been a huge help. I realize with winter coming up, I don't, well, I mean, even, you know, snow is pretty beautiful if you bundle up and get some fresh air. Yeah. Yeah, but nature has been a big solace for me too, just going out on walks and such. So, and just trying to not like look too far ahead. That's my big thing, you know. I think for me, anxiety is I just kind of am always just looking a little too far ahead. And so just being a little more present.
Well, thank you for sharing. It's beautifully said about gratitude. I think that's one thing that has really made an impact on people. And for perhaps people who have never thought about what they're grateful for, to sit back and say, hey, I can be grateful just to look out the window and see a beautiful leaf. I mean, as small as that. Because we all have had to just take a back seat to everything that we used to do. Nicole, talk a little bit about how you have been coping, and would love to hear about kind of some of the specific struggles that you're managing.
Okay. You know, I had a record coming out right when the lockdown started, and I could have held it. I could have held on to it, and then I realized, you know, I made the record to get this. The whole point of the sound was to make something that made me feel better, because even before the lockdown, there was a lot of crazy shit going on. You know, like every day the news was just something horrible, and I just wanted to make this kind of sound that made me feel better, you know, and because I wasn't hearing that other than old records. And so I figured, you know, just looking back onto the past, you know, you think a record is going to be like, oh my God, this is going to make or break my life. And sometimes it never does. It never makes or breaks your life. It's an experience, and then you move on to the next thing, you know, it keeps going. So it was good for me to know I could put this out when we were sitting at home, because people would be able to get an escape. You know, it's not just when you put a record out, it's not just for you anymore. It's for everybody else. And so I kind of went on this like hyper mode of like, you know, I got to help my band make money because they're back in Muscle Shoals selling tobacco, you know, at the corner shop. And so I just started doing this show in my attic, and it was like a variety show, and it gave me enough work to, you know, do something every week and to have something to look forward to. And it, like, you know, it taught my husband and I new skills on like, you know, how to
make a little TV show from our house, how to make something out of nothing. Like, we're kind of like the MacGyver of like backdrops and, you know, props and all this stuff, and like how to make, like, the lighting rig just fell, how to make it part of the show. And I'm really grateful for that, you know, because it gives us something to look forward to and reasons to connect with people. Erika, I think you were one of the first guests that I had, you know. So, I mean, I love talking to people. You know, that's what really gets me out of my head. It's like, I'm a social person, and, you know, I haven't drank alcohol in almost 4 years now. And I used to think I had social anxiety, and I don't. It's like the total opposite, you know, but that's something to be said for that, where, you know, sitting still, like, you know, just what you were saying about like reading a book, or what Frank was saying about, you know, trying to stay up because of creativity. Like, there's times where, you know, things happen and things get hard, and you can't just, you know, keep working yourself to, you know, to cope with your problems. Like that is how I deal with when times get rough. You know, I'm like, let's do something, let's make something. And sometimes, you know, the people that are in my house won't want to do that, you know, and I fight against that. I'm like, come on, just blah, blah, blah. And everybody has their own stuff. And so I struggle with, you know, feeling guilty about reading a book or feeling guilty about laying in my bed all day. But then, you know, I just have to kind of be kinder to myself and reconcile with myself. Like, hey, you slept all day, but I was hanging out with my friends in my dreams, you know, and you don't get to see your friends anymore. So if that's how you're going to see them, you know, that was a good day. And you actually have the time to do that right now. You know, like, I think it's important to just kind of, you know, be a lot kinder to yourself, and, you know, you can tend to worry about everybody else, and especially if you have a big family, like, you insert yourself into everybody's business, and you kind of just got to let go, you know, and just keep things really simple, you know, and like even doing small things like, you know, like talking to my husband and being like, oh, you're not playing with me, you're not paying attention to me. But then you got to think you got to think about other people, what they're going through. And it's like, oh, he's got a lot of work that he's doing right now. I'm going to go do his laundry. You know, just like simple acts of kindness, I think, throughout your day can really, like, not only help the other person, but they help you too. They just help you to feel good, you know, like not to spiral out into, like, you know, just little things to stop thinking about yourself so much can really help.
To get out of your head.
Call somebody else, go do something for somebody else. You know, it's part of, you know, the steps in Alcoholics Anonymous is like calling another alcoholic to see how they're doing when you want to drink. But I think that everybody can use that, even if you're not an alcoholic, just in life. You know, if you're stuck on a creative project, or, you know, oh, this song isn't good enough, or, oh, is anybody even going to remember my record when it, you know, we're all allowed to tour again? Like, those are thoughts that don't serve you, you know, like call an old friend and just see how they're doing, you know, because that could probably end up meaning a lot to them.
So note to self, when we all get off of this, we have to reach out to somebody.
Yeah, go call an old friend.
Okay. You talked about your sobriety. Tell us a bit about how staying clean and sober during this incredibly stressful time that nobody has ever had to experience. This is the first time we're all experiencing it. We know, based on reports that we see, that drinking sales have gone up. We know that drug use has gone up, and that's all self-reported. So who knows what isn't reported? So how have you been coping with your sobriety during this excruciating time?
I think my sobriety's been a godsend during this time, you know, because I can't even imagine, you know, what my life would look like if I was still drinking and this happened, you know. Because, I mean, the way that I used to drink, I used to drink until I woke up, you know, and it has not that hasn't been very hard for me to maintain. I think I tried for 4 years to stop drinking, and my story is one of a lot of relapse. And once I finally, once it got bad enough for me to get it, to be like, okay, you can't do this anymore. I tend to only ever think about, oh man, a drink sounds nice when I'm really mad. And then I just think, oh, I'm really mad. Isn't that weird that that's what I want to do? And, I have a lot of, sober friends. I have a lot of not sober friends. I just try to be there for people that are struggling. I don't find my sobriety to be a struggle in my life. I find that to be one of the things that helps me cope with all the other struggles in my life.
Being present.
Yeah.
Right.
And Zoom meetings are fun too, because, I actually prefer Zoom meetings for AA meetings, just because, everybody gets a little shy when they walk into a room of people. But it's like with this, you can still be in your own zone, and especially if you're not a hugger. I'm not a hugger. But,
and you can go to so many at all times now, right? You can call
you could go
anywhere
to them
and
all
everywhere.
over the world. You could go, to that awesome, like, English speaking meeting in Amsterdam. But that is one thing. Like, I know a lot of people that, don't struggle with alcoholism, but they struggle with all the things that alcoholics do struggle with. And it's like, I wish there were meetings for them. Like, I wish there was kind of like more like mental health meetup meetings, because when you are having like spiraling, thinking, oh my God, everybody hates me, or I'm never going to make any money, or where am I going to be, blah, blah, blah. Like, just doing something for somebody else or listening to somebody else's story gets you out of your head, or might inspire an idea. I think action is one of the best ways that I get out of depression, because I can think forever about the oh no's, and like, but it's like, if I just take one little action, like just write down one line, put away some laundry, like maybe teach myself a song on the piano, just getting out of your seat or your bed is, you just got to take one little step, and it might help your day pop off,
So speaking of action, Frank, can you talk a bit about heading into December? We just had the first entree to holidays. What are you thinking about? How are you thinking about coping with the winter months? Another month of not touring, another month of possibly not being around as many people as you typically would be. What are your thoughts? How are you handling that? Or how do you plan on handling that?
I can tell you a quick story. And also we just did almost like a COVID tour in our 4 provinces that it was called the Atlantic Bubble. So like there's 4 provinces that stuck together, and anyone that came in had to like isolate for 14 days. So cases were really small, and we're like, we took the opportunity to be like, let's try to put on a safe tour and distance like theater thing. And we went right across all 4 provinces, and just to try to bring hope, make people feel better about what's going on. And it happened, it went through, but now everything's done again. We can't tour for a while. I mean, I learned a lot through the whole self-isolation the past 8 months. Since we were on tour in America before it all happened. We didn't know anything that was going on, and just saw people just peeling off of our shows and like giving back tickets. And we looked at the news and we're like, well, we got to go home. And the first thing I was thinking about was I have nowhere to go. Like I dedicated my life to music and just being on the road, and I got rid of my apartment and everything because I was always touring, or I was always writing songs for people in different countries. And when I got back, like nobody wanted me around them. and because like I'm a traveler and I couldn't even check into a hotel, and just like it messed me up mentally. And then eventually just I got to stay with my mother because she'd take me in, but it was just really hard. I realized I built a life that made me happy within traveling and always being on the road, and I never focused on myself and what my happiness would be if I was just to stand still. So I kind of reverted back into my child self. Like I felt like I was a kid again, and I remember just like over the months, like I started like looking at myself differently, like noticing features of my face that were like I thought were horrible, and I was like, and my manager and my friends are just like, "You're going crazy, man! Like, you look fine, you look the same." But like in my mind, like it wasn't there, and I started as it kept going and it went downhill a bit. I started talking more because I needed to. I was still conscious of what was going on in my brain. Like I know I was just sad and just sulking and stuff, but I started talking, and my friends started reminding me of the things that I learned. And I went to this like healing retreat in Sedona in Arizona a while ago, and they taught me a lot of things that helped me get through what I mostly went through as a kid. And one thing what you guys were talking about was like all the crazy things that are going on in your head. Like I overthink a lot. Like I just think about 20 scenarios and how it's going to hurt me, and they taught me to like counteract that. And I would just all I have to do is just say like whatever situation is going on in my brain, like this is just an idea, and that's probably not going to happen. Everything's fine. Nobody hates you. There's a lot more people that love you than hate you. And it started to get better. Then I remember, I should be eating a lot better. So I started eating better, and my energy level went up, and I started meditating again, because that was a really important part of it, clearing my mind, getting all those negative thoughts in my subconscious to be positive. And then what else did I do? Let's try to think. I'm saying this because this applies to what's going to happen next. Just forgiving myself for anything that happened in the past. There's so many things that I've been doing that I did in those 8 months just to get back to where I was. Oh, and I started working out again. I signed up for like a boxing course, and just like been boxing every week just to have like new goals, because I can't, like I have music goals and stuff, but I know how far they can go. But so I just started working on different goals for myself, just to have a destination. As a purpose is very important to the human spirit, I think. And if you don't have that, you kind of go downhill a bit. So I just gave myself a different purpose, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on the next few months, is my purpose and keeping my mental health in check, and how I eat, and talking to people. Because when I don't talk to nobody, it's just I talk to myself, and it's just like it's bad. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, listen, there was, I know I was nodding my head, and I saw Nicole and Erika nodding their heads when you talked about giving yourself permission just to feel whatever you were feeling. One thing we all have to really remember is if we're not feeling okay, it's okay. And there's that very important but very simple expression, it's okay to not be okay. And for touring artists who are constantly on the go and constantly in a different place and constantly with their touring families and their band families, it's very different to come home and to get sleep and to actually be able to eat healthy and to have to relate to people in a different way than you relate to people when you're on the road. And it's a whole different way of managing your life off the road. We often talk about how it is on the road, but now I think the silver lining is that the music world gets to figure out how to be off the road and how to better manage all the things that they haven't been able to take care of. And you guys have all talked about self-care and finding supports and finding ways to get out of your head. What do we think about, and anybody jump in here, but what do we think about ongoing isolation, given that we have colder months coming our way? Frank, you said you're up in Nova Scotia. How do we manage that? It's different if you just can't go outside and connect with nature. So I don't know if anybody here has ever experienced seasonal affect disorder. It's a real thing. But if anybody has, would love to hear about it, because I think our viewers and people who are listening can probably definitely relate to that too. And it's important just to maybe spend a few minutes if anybody has anything to share.
I've lived in Texas for years now, but I realized that when I would go home and visit for extended periods, how I really noticed a dramatic difference. And when there's a lack of sunshine, I'm sorry, my puppy is freaking out a little. I mean, I'm not sure if this is good advice or not in the midst of COVID, but I think if you have some folks that you trust to be very open and honest about where they've been and around, that I personally think it's okay to have a little tribe of people that you can spend time with. And maybe, everybody has it. I've noticed during COVID, everybody has a different idea of what's okay and not okay. And I do my best to not do any judgment on folks. I'm doing very cautious. I was staying with a friend in Los Angeles, and we got several tests, and then we just, stayed together in the same place for a while. And so I was able to not be as isolated, because I lived alone in a place in Lockhart, so in Texas. So I just needed to get around somebody. And I don't know I don't know how feasible that is for everybody. And, but I personally find that's okay. At least that's okay for me.
And the puppy seems to help too.
Yeah.
That's there's always
get an animal. I'm wondering how many bands that when we do go back to touring, you'll see with a road dog. And now everybody has to bring it on the road with them. With the seasonal stuff, I just wanted to show everybody this. This is my Sadly. I got this for Christmas a few years ago, but it's not as bright as it can be, but it makes this like really bright daylight. And so when it is dismal out, I put this on, and it just kind of sets a level of it doesn't make me feel dread. I wish I could afford to have one of these in every room. Phillips, if you're listening, call me. I remember I got that light a few years ago, but I remember last year when it started getting dark out early. I think that's what makes it hard, because it feels like it's like 10 at night and it's 5. But especially for people that stay up late and wake up late like me. But when I saw the light, I was like, oh no, I'm getting depressed, you know, and I'm on an antidepressant that like levels me out. And I'm like, I guess this isn't working. And then I saw this light in the corner of my room and I was like, oh, wait, no, it's just winter. You know, it helped me like, it gave me like a visual reminder of, you know, that's just what happens every year. And made that a lot easier. So I think just kind of putting in your environment, surrounding yourself with things that make you feel up, you know, like I like to do lists. I like to do gratitude lists. You know, even if it's something as simple as like, you know, I found a lighter in my pocket, or I had really good split pea soup today, you know, just those little things that, you know, or like listen to the Beatles or the Beach Boys, or you know, a lot of music from that I listened to in high school. I started listening to again, you know, when the winter started coming, you know, started listening to like Lauryn Hill and Bjork again. And it was like 1998 all over again. But it made me feel good. You know, you got to do the things that make you feel good, I think.
Okay. Well, on that note, I have, as I mentioned earlier, I work for a relief organization that provides assistance to the music community. And MusiCares collaborates with other relief organizations. And I've been working with some of my colleagues to come up with kind of like a top 10 list of, as we enter the holiday season, and as we enter a long winter, and as we enter an abyss of some more unknown, what kind of things we can do to best manage. So we have 8, and I'm going to turn to you guys to add on a few. Okay. So think about ones that I'm not mentioning that you want to add to coping, kind of a toolbox for the holidays. 1, make a holiday plan. So decide how you're going to spend your time in advance rather than waiting until that morning. There'll be a little less disappointment. Get connected and stay connected. If you know that you're going to need people to reach out to you to check on you, tell them, say, hey, can you call me? I'm going to need you to check in on me. And similarly, what everybody said before, reach out to somebody else. Maybe you know someone who could use that phone call, which we're all going to do after this. Try something new. Anything that's been on your list, we want people to get distracted and take their minds away. It's going to boost endorphins when you learn something. Get up and move. Frank, you talked about exercise. Erika, you talked about getting outside. We know that light certainly is good for the soul. So bring some light in. Help others. So there's something called Volunteer Match. So you guys can take advantage of it. You can create a calm toolkit. So maybe you guys can think about what you would put in that calming toolkit. Everybody has talked about practicing gratitude. There have been studies that show that it helps levels of stress, levels of depression. And this was my big thing during the whole election was screen breaks. We cannot think that the person who's on Facebook has like the most beautiful life, because that's why they're posting it. And limit what you watch, limit what you see. So with those, would love to hear anything else that you guys can add.
You didn't say playlist of music, did you?
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
I always try to have like a feel-good playlist or just an album that, like she was saying that like she listened to Lauryn Hill and Bjork. Like I go back to all the songs that inspired me when I was younger. It just puts me in a place. It helps me escape. And I know I listen to like Coldplay's Rush of Blood to the Head album, and that just like calms every part of my body down instantly. And yeah.
Love it. Thank you. Erika, Nicole, anything?
Did you mention just sort of letting go of the things that you can't control. Like just with so much going on right now, what I find is as humans, we're all compassionate towards each other. And when there's, I mean, with everything going on, I find myself kind of having to remind myself that things that are beyond my control, to just kind of trust in the universe in some way, and that we're going to be okay. I mean, there is also, you know, of course, along with that, reaching out to people, but I just like, there's so much I want to do to help, but there's only so much that I can do. So I think
realize what's within your locus of control, right?
Yeah. Okay. And
Thank you. Nicole, anything to add?
I think, you know, families can be a source of stress over the holidays. So I think, you know, there's a lot of different personalities in families. And I think for a lot of people too that, you know, might struggle with, like, you know, families with alcoholism in them, you know, take this year as a win, because you might just, you know, I think everybody's going to understand if you can't travel to go see them because we're in a pandemic. So take it as a win. And if you live close to them, you know, just know that it's okay to have time limits. You know, like there's a certain point when, you know, families can get like, they can get, you know, on each other and a lot. And you can say, you know, at 10 p.m., oh, I have to go do a panel. Even if you're not in the industry, just say you have to go do a panel.
I think that's great. People experienced it over Thanksgiving, you know, not everything is a kumbaya get together.
It passes and people forget about it.
Well, I want to thank you all for your candor, for your authenticity, and just sharing your thoughts. And again, let's just continue to applaud SoundMind for bringing these conversations to light, reaching out, and let's continue to normalize the conversation around wellness, mental health. Thanks so much, guys.
Hi, my name is Abby, and I'm the social media manager at SoundMind Live. The song that has saved me during this pandemic is Elevate by St. Lucia. It's just a great song to listen to if I'm ever feeling down or anxious, or just want a really great song to dance to. It always puts me in a good mood. Highly recommend. It's super important to support mental health programs during this time. You can give at soundmindlive.org/donate or text rhythm and reset at the number on your screen. Up next is Neon Dreams. Enjoy.
We've been working on an album for some time now. And I want to play you guys, well, we want to play you guys some of the new songs. So this one is called Don't Go Hating Me Now. This ain't nothing like I've seen before. Never have I ever seen you on the floor like that. It's so traumatic. I don't mean to sound dramatic, but everyone looks up to you. So when you fall, we'll be catching you. That's facts. Your nose is bleeding. Drank too much and you're barely eating, but we used to be close, but now we're just missed calls. I thought I heard you say don't go. phone. Doesn't have to be the only one you've ever known. Stone cold rejected, 3 dots blank, don't even message back to your friends we love that you haven't seen in months. It's cool, don't have to say much. Oh, no grudges to your day one. Don't go ahead and me now. I'm here when you say you don't need any help. Someone's gotta be the bad guy. Take you out of the fast life. Don't go ahead and me now. When you're coming Don't go ahead and me now. I'm here when you say you don't need any help. Someone's gotta be the bad guy. Take you out of the fast life. Yeah. So don't go ahead and me now. When you say you don't need any help, someone's gotta be the bad guy. Yeah, so don't go ahead and me now. When you're coming now. Story time. Quick story. Now before I got into music at all, all I was listening to was reggae music, and because my family's Jamaican, that's all I heard for most of my life till about 12, I think. And I was having a really bad day. My uncle's like, "Hey, check this band out. I think it might help you, and like, they're different. It's rap and rock." And I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." And it happened to be Linkin Park, and the song was called "In the End." And it changed my entire life. It made me feel like okay with myself, that one song, and then the rest of their albums. So just want to shout that out, let you guys know how I got into this song. The song's called "Sick of Feeling Useless." You remember that coffee stain checklist? We had our hearts on our sleeves, so reckless. Open minds to whatever came next, yeah. Living our best life, no stress, yeah. Whatever happened to all our good faith? We used to be so free in the old days. Anxiety got us shattered, telling us shut up, it don't matter. It's hard to feel when the world gets too real inside of us. We just need to feel some love. Scream out but nobody listens. Try but it don't make a difference. hope you guys are still with us. If you are, throw some hearts in the comments right now. Hey, hey. I know how I was feeling when we wrote this. And if you're feeling the exact same way as us, I want you to sing with us. Sing loud. Hey, hey. Scream out, but nobody listens. Try, but it don't make a difference. Sick of feeling useless. Sick of feeling useless. Everybody's living so selfish. Got us feeling young, dumb, and helpless. Sick of feeling useless. Sick of feeling useless.
God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate, so we can buy shit we don't need. The middle children of history, man. No purpose, no place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives.
When they said it's cancer, she thought she was beat. Yeah, I know. It's a dark, dark world. Frankie was a kid with nowhere to sleep. Always someone there to shut down his dreams. It took hold and buried him like gold. When the night comes, they're sitting there in the dark, looking up and thinking, will it always be this high? Well, I've been there before. You can take it from me, it's not about where you are, it's about where you're gonna be. Yeah, I know, it's a shit show. We know, keep the hope, and I wish I was you. Something's find you. Oh, heaven knows where the light falls. When you know, keep the hope, and I wish I was you. Something's find you. Casey fell in love, thought it never would end, until she saw the photo we sent to a friend. Yeah, I know. It's a cold, cold world. Tom was looking forward to meeting his dad, but all he got was 20 and a pat on the back. He was so mad he punched through the wall. When the night comes, they're sitting there in the dark, looking up and thinking, will it always be this hard? Well, I've been there before. You can take it from me, it's not about where you are, it's about where you're gonna be. Yeah, I know, it's a shit show. When you know, keep the hope, and I wish I was you. Something's find you. Oh, heaven knows where the light falls. When you know, keep the hope, and I wish I was you. Something's find you. know, yeah, low, it's a shit show. When you're low, keep the hope, and I wish you'll dream, but something find you. Heaven knows where your life goes. When you're low, keep the hope, and I wish you'll dream, but something find you. Sunbeams find you.
Neon Dreams, everybody. Wow, what a way to finish strong. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of our musicians who were part of this amazing evening. Thank you, Jennifer Leff from MusiCares, and thanks for all of our partners for helping to make this possible. Again, this is all for something very important to support mental health in this time of need. Please go to soundmindlive.org/donate. Contribute. Every single dollar helps. You can also text Rhythm and Reset to the number on your screen. All money helps support our advocacy programs in the new year to reach people with a message of open up, feel comfortable reaching out for support. These musicians are doing it. You can do it too. And also helping people know where to go to get direct services. Now, with that, we hope you enjoyed this evening. Thank you all for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in 2021.